I think we're actually burying the lead. Hey, OC, how did you know that Parsons was going to be able to rush the passer as well as he did? You're the only person I've ever seen to ever say that Micah Parsons could be a put his hand down guy. So I need that question answered.
The OC.
Boss Show Me and Tuck.
Yes, sir.
Chat, I ain't gonna lie. Them pigs, I ain't even.
We gotta talk. Man, we gotta talk. Gonna be a good show today.
Like, we must have got a guard. That's the only thing that would have made him do that. That's it.
He know.
He know. Cause he been watching Twitter, man.
And we got the right guy, Tuck, in the building. Yeah, man, and we starting it off talking about them linebackers, because we got to settle that, and we got a former linebacker to talk about this.
My reefer with Henny and Coke. Please don't be stingy, got plenty to smoke. Show up and act up and back to the crib. I do not stun, I just rap what I live. Seem like they doing the most for the clout. Did what I said so they know what I'm about. Show up and act up and back to the crib. I do not stun, I just rap what I do.
Boss, show me.
I will, because we can't waste this. We can't waste this. Man, we got the right man in the building. The right guy. Trust me. Trust me.
Shot it. Fight for. See, that's how to go out. Don't go out, just sit back. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna take Matthew Golden. No, fight for. You wanted physical. You said you wanted physical. Fight for it.
And we gotta fight, man. Hey, we gotta fight. Sometimes even when you know you go lose, you gotta fight anyway. That's what people wanna see. Oh, we go fight. Jay Tuck.
Oh my God.
Somebody else said
It is. It's
Boss Cowboy Sports, where your voice matters.
Today's stream is brought to you by, it left. It was supposed to be brought to you by Sleep App, but if you go with Sleep App, man, and you put up $100, they gonna match you on your deposit. I don't know what happened, man. It's one of them things. We gonna get through it. Now, test your mic, because you sounded, I didn't.
Test.
Okay, turn you up a little bit. Turn you up. We want to make sure we hear you today.
Crank.
Yeah, you sound great now. So first of all, how your back, bro? Coming back from the game.
Hey, man, my back's in pain right now. I can barely walk, but it was worth it. You know what I'm saying? Old age catches up with you. I didn't even do nothing, boss. Got out the car yesterday, getting ready to head to the stadium. My back just went out, man. But I went out there, still represented for my Cowboys. Stood. There was an 84-year-old lady next to me at the game, and she was standing up, going hard. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna stand up and go hard with you, but I'm definitely paying the price for it right now. But we're gonna get back. I'm gonna be all right. I'm sitting down, comfortable. So
yeah, man, we had to. I mean, shout out to my boy Tuck, man. It's in your blood, my brother. You can't get it out your system, man. You addicted. You love these Cowboys, bro. And the fact that you went out there on a bad back and you still, was rooting them boys on. And these are hard times, man. But these are times we could actually do something, So
yeah, pain meds. Oh man, I talked to you when I talked to Law last night and didn't even remember.
Dawg, you sounded like you was on the best green of all time, mixed with that good alcohol, bro. You like
I have none of that, man.
Because I asked, I said you been drinking? You don't even remember.
I don't remember nothing, bro. I don't remember nothing.
Yeah, because you was on the pain meds, boy. So let's get to it, man. The first thing I want to start with is linebacker.
Okay.
Because I always do shows on Monday and I say slept on it. And it gives us a chance to kind of expound. And this is a perfect show because this was Tuck's position. And I know you go reason through this stuff well, more than most. So I peeped some things, and I want to kind of go back and forth with you on it. I'm gonna start with first the person that been coming up, and that's K9, right? So I've been seeing some things and hearing some things. I want to just kind of break it down with you, my brother. So let's start with K9.
I feel like the defense performed after last week. I feel like this is what the standard is.
I still feel like we still stacking. I feel like, it was a good performance. We did some really good things. We executed at a high level. I think, it's definitely another level that we can take it to. And I think just continue to hone in on the little details of the defense, executing the defense, down in, down out. We'll continue to see and have success. So, that's what I'm looking forward to, is just having another good week of preparation this week, getting ready to go play another good team.
What did you guys do during last week that maybe reshifted the focus, or was it just the game plan was better?
I feel like collectively, we had a good preparation. I feel like the game plan was really solid. We kind of have a players-only meeting at the end of the week, just kind of making sure everybody's connected, making sure everybody's on the same page defensively. And so I feel like, that's kind of what you saw out there, was just a connected group. And in the moments that we didn't have, the success that we wanted out there on the field, it was an unconnected group. So it's just about us being consistently connected, for however long it takes.
For sure. I also saw a story that K9, Kenneth Murray, held a couple extra meetings with the defense, and I'm just kind of wondering how much you feel that communication, that leadership helped this week, and you want to see more of that going forward?
Absolutely. That's what you're looking for, is communication and dialogue. I think that's how you execute. And those guys getting in a room on their own and making sure they're communicating out there, that's where consistency starts to creep in. If you can really, take what the coaches are giving you and then take it to another level and, meet with your guys. And, he's certainly one of the big communicators out there on the field for us. And, for him to be having those meetings, hats off to him. And, that's what it takes if we're going to get better as a defense as we progress here. And that's obviously the goal. I think we took some good steps yesterday. Obviously, we know we still have a lot of work to do there.
Yeah, I say it's refreshing to hear that the Dallas Cowboys defense did have those players-only meetings. It was needed, because I feel like they wasn't playing as a unit in previous games. You always saw miscommunications, you saw misdiagnosis. So it looks like K9 really kind of took it on his shoulders to really try to lead by example in bringing this team together. Now, my question was, and of course they really didn't clarify, was it specifically Kenneth Murray that started to have these individual meetings, these team meetings? Because if he's the spearhead behind this, even though I'm happy that it happened, boss, that's kind of concerning to me, right? Because the reason I would be concerned is he just got here. Osa, you're the made man, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You also have Donovan Wilson. You also have Deron Bland, who just got paid, right? You have Malik Hooker is out, but you have some other guys that's kind of been in that locker room. So why is it the new guy on the 1-year deal, per se, the one leading the players only meeting? It should have been one of the anchors, but be that as it may, I'm happy that it happened. It looked like it did pay actual dividends. The linebacker core did actually play better, and it's a whole conversation we're probably about to talk about here in a second. And I talked about this earlier on my TikTok, but the front seven for me, boss, in previous games, it was the biggest frustration for me. Because coming into the season one, we all coined Matt Eberflus as a linebacker guy. Some even coined him as a linebacker guru. The linebackers were not playing well. They're probably our weakest unit defensively, and that's hard to say when you have a 32nd ranked defense. So to see our front seven defensive end starting to play a little bit better, interior play better, but also our linebackers play better, it was exciting to see that. But there was a key adjustment that Matt Eberflus made with this unit that we'll talk about here in a second, and it's something that Cowboys Nation has been mentioning frequently, and I'm glad they finally listened and took our advice.
Go ahead, talk about it.
Well, there has been this narrative amongst Cowboys fans, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, Jack Sanborn was active yesterday, wasn't it, boss?
Yes.
So Cowboys Nation, when you go and look at Jack Sanborn's stats, you see these 3 key letters: D, N, P. And what does that mean? Did not play. So Jack Sanborn was active, but did not play yesterday. And Jack Sanborn was the Matt Eberflus guy. He was the Eric Kendricks to this defense. All right.
Yep.
But it was clear as day. Even as good as he is up here mentally, he is a clear liability on that field that was getting exposed. So I've been saying it. I know you've been saying it. My dog Lou's been saying it. You have to go with younger, hungrier, agile guys that can be more disruptive. Who are those guys? Maris Leofau.
Yes.
And my guy, rookie, Shamar James.
Yep.
And you have seen just instantly by having those 2 young linebackers out there, are they in perfect position every play? Absolutely not. But they're able to make things happen. We saw Maris with the fumble, right? The forced fumble. You saw Shamar James, right? You go through my film analysis I did on him coming out of Florida. Downhill linebacker that's extremely disruptive. We saw him come downhill on that blitz, get pressured, sack on Jaden Daniels, cause the fumble, and also ultimately taking Jaden Daniels out the game. You need guys with high motor and high altitude. Have some IQ, because Maris is an IQ guy.
Yes.
But going with a younger talent, it already paid dividends for the Dallas Cowboys defense. And there were so many people, boss, I always call it anchored in on your bias, where you just favor a player or you make so much content about a player that you don't want to just say, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was wrong. And I saw it last week that people were saying, well, our Dallas Cowboys run defense was less effective once Jack Sanborn went out. You could play that game all day, right?
Hold on, real quick, just real quick. Go ahead.
Right. So it sounded good, right? It sounded good that, okay, our run defense was bad now all of a sudden because Jack Sanborn was out. But this is not Boss Show Me. This is not Jay Tuck saying that he's a liability.
No.
This is your defensive coordinator
Yeah.
and coach who brought this man over saying, my bad. I was wrong. And he went out there and you just saw the intensity intensify when it came to having these younger players out there, when it came to our linebacker core and having Maris Leofau and also Shamar James out there who had, I think he had 2 pressures, 2 quarterback hits, the forced fumble, like disruptive guys that have a high motor when it comes to these younger guys. So I know a lot of people are going to be, oh, Jack Sanborn, don't take me out of it. You know what I'm saying? Crop me out of it, crop Boss out of it. This is your coaching staff saying, all right, we was wrong. We was wrong on this one.
Yeah. And man, first of all, this is why I love doing shows with Tuck. Because I was frustrated too for different reasons, man. It was obvious that Sanborn was a sponsorship thing. Mm-hmm. This was one of those my guy things, like you said, the Eric Kendricks. But see, Eric Kendricks was actually an asset versus Sanborn was always a liability. He was always a square being forced into a circle hole. Always. He didn't play middle linebacker in Chicago. He wasn't the green dot. He only played strong and weak side. The person who always, all the way back to his OU days, that was the green dot was Kenneth Murray.
Right.
So I said this even after Micah left. I said, I misspelled fool. I said, don't fool yourself. It is leadership void with the divorce of Micah. Likely Murray will feel it. Linebackers are the QBs of the defense, and it is natural for linebackers to take command of the huddles. The whisper of Matt mixed with the upside of Murray will fill the void. Now, I was wrong on that C part because I didn't anticipate the politics of Sanborn. Because, see, ain't it funny that as soon as Sanborn was gone, the person who naturally stepped up and started having his own meetings to get everybody together.
Players only meeting, was it just defensive players? Or was
Yeah.
And who organized that on the defensive side?
All the defensive leaders. I went in there, ran the meeting.
And notice he humble about it. It was him, but he not saying it was me, but it was him.
Calling plays, making our calls, making sure everybody can hear what it's going to sound like, from, DB, D-line aspect of. And then at the same time, like, making sure everybody connected and knowing what to expect as far as, like, how our D-line may play a certain run, how we can expect our DBs to come down in coverage, and how they're going to be able to fit off of it and how it all works together. Because I think cohesively, like, everything works together, whether it's D-line, linebackers.
We ain't never heard Sanborn talking like this.
Right. And as your Mike, he is the quarterback of the defense. He is the quarterback. So that should have been
always the case.
Right? But that's your Mike, right? You need the Mike to be the anchor. And it seems like Kenneth Murray, because I didn't catch that part. He said all the defensive leaders, but I let you.
All the defensive, but it was me, dog. It was me, dog.
Right, okay. So I caught you, Murray. So you did actually lead the meetings, right?
He definitely.
Yep. He wanted to make sure that everyone understood the calls, the assignments. So that once again is him being the QB, that everyone behind him knows what's going on, right?
Yep.
Because as a linebacker, for someone who played linebacker, you need to talk to your safeties. They need to be on the same accord. Because even I didn't play Mike, I played Will, but still, you have to know what the coverage is behind you.
Right.
You have to know what the shifts are in front of you. You are putting everything into place, right? You typically see the Mike linebacker, he comes up and taps the nose tackle or defensive tackle, but hold a slant. So there's so many different things that's going from an IQ standpoint when it comes to Mike, besides just being able to come downhill, digest, read, and react.
Right. And that was the problem with forcing Sanborn is even if you have the IQ, do you have the experience to lead the men? See, that's the difference. The difference is I've been leading men for a long time. I've been leading men in the NFL. Can we talk about something real quick? Because I've heard some people kind of get it off. I heard some people trying to blame Diggs, and they were saying the communication got better with the absence of Diggs. Can you explain that the communication comes from the middle? Because because I'm going to say this as a cornerback. All my coaches used to say, you ain't got to think.
Right.
Because I was in a place to where I couldn't see everything,
Right.
The people in the middle see everything. The safe. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. It comes from the middle, not the outside, because there's so many different things going on from a corner. So if I'm playing the middle linebacker and Boss is communicating as a corner, of course he might be communicating with his other corners depending on what's happening, right? Like, okay, let's say there's going to be
bunch.
I don't know, a bunch, right?
Right.
Okay, and it's going to be like a mesh concept. Okay, so you're going to take that, right? That's what they're not talking about.
Back up 1 yard. Little stuff.
Exactly. Little stuff. Like the communication is not Boss talking to me like, hey, tuck the A gap, or
I'm not tapping the defensive end on the butt to scoot over for a different exchange. No.
Right, exactly, right. So the communication comes from the linebacker. I'm seeing
and
everything.
The safeties.
In the safeties, right? I'm telling my other linebackers, whether it's my Will or the Sam, to push over when this tight end goes to motion, okay, and all sorts of different things. I'm telling Osa to get in the C gap or the B gap because I'm gonna take a inside crossing dog blitz. Like I'm doing all that as the middle linebacker. So everything communication wise comes from the interior. The back end stuff is very minimal, to be honest with you guys.
Yeah, that's facts.
That's
exactly. Facts. And so, basically, in a nutshell, Eberflus was messing us up with his boy, his guy, and it was holding back the linebackers from assuming what they already should have been. And that's why I already predicted. I said, give these dudes 2 weeks without Sanborn. And even Brian talked about it. Like, Brian broke down the breakdown with the linebackers versus the Jets.
Let's be honest, we didn't play the run very well yesterday. And we gave up, I think, 6 explosives, and a lot of that was some of the alignments, the linebackers got to adjust and move and change, and Shamar James is going to be an incredible player in this league. I really do believe that. And K9 got forced into a spot he hadn't been playing when you lose Sanborn. But
See, that was the game everybody was talking about. Them linebackers look like they out of position. They was forced into spots they wasn't playing, and the communication was off. So that's where you had to have real leadership, and that's where you starting to get now. So what you're saying to me, and I want to talk to you about it as a linebacker and a former linebacker that played Will, to me to say we got even more upside.
We do, because what I feel like, and I know, Boss, you talked about this in other shows at other positions, right? Offensive line, cross training, right? Making sure that offensive linemen are prepared to play each side, right? I feel like where the Dallas Cowboys did the biggest disservice was who else was prepared for the mic outside of Jack Sanborn. And it sounds like nobody else was prepared. When Jack Sanborn went down, it was like, shit.
They was playing on instincts.
Murray, can you do it? I mean, I can't. I kind of, but I really don't know. But I can. So then the miscommunication was off, probably because he tossed him out in a position he wasn't played. Where if you really know things like we know things, it should have either been Kenneth Murray at the mic, or you should have been leading Maris Leofow to be the mic and be the communicator. Because the one thing that when I scouted Maris Leofow out of the University of Notre Dame is communication IQ. Like, you can go back to all my draft film, everything. The one thing that stood out with Maris was IQ, right?
Yes.
And then last year you had him kind of being under the arm of Eric Kendricks, who was extreme IQ as well. So if there's any role you should have been preparing for the middle linebacker or just your communication role, because it doesn't have to be the mic, right? It should have been Maris Leofow. But there was always this situation about communication. So just like you're saying, Boss, once Jack Sanborn went down, it was like, who else knows it?
They was playing wild.
Right.
But then all the content creators and writers was, and not even listening to the situation. It all, honestly, you said it best, Tuck. This is why you so cold. It came down to Matt Eberflus not having a good contingency plan, which is the worst rule of a defense. You always know you got to have your backup just as prepared as the starter, especially the main communicator. It just it has an ugly smell of politics to it, to where, to be honest, it looked like you got straightened up, by a real coach.
Well, that was an exciting room in there, and they should be excited. We were obviously, every Cowboy fan should be excited how that defense played, and they really did some impressive things out there. Credit goes to head coach, who spent a lot of time on that side of the ball this week.
Look like you got straightened up, because ain't it funny? Now that Brian came in there and he audited them, he did an audit. He came in there and did an audit. Now all of a sudden he do an audit, and your boy ain't even get no snaps.
Right. Zero. DNP.
DMP did not play at all.
Yeah, Shawty said, "Hey, man, I fessed your dog, bro, but nah." You know, and so what it forces me to kind of start thinking about is, because Shawty was on the podium, you know, Maris seems to be more consistent. Was Shawty saying and seeing things that was causing inconsistency in Maris, or was that just being funneled from Matt Eberflus, and Shawty was just kind of just going with Matt was saying?
See, and that goes back to the problem with your question. Let's now point to the problem. This is why me and you had a problem with Jerry running to hire Matt Eberflus, because that causes this dynamic, right, of Can I just jump my D coordinator ass because it's my owner that hired him? It's this power dilemma that make you tiptoe. So you late to solve problems. You have to do it politically. You got to do just like Mike McCarthy. You got to let Kelly Moore fall on his ass. But when he fuck it up, then you come up and say, I never was a fan of those option routes. But you got to let the chaos. See, that's the environment that we create.
Right. We had to become the 32nd ranked defense in order for Shotty to be able to be comfortable to go spend majority time. Because my question was, you should have been doing this shit after Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Like, boom. But you could, so Shotty spend more time when it came to the defense all of a sudden because it was so bad. Something had to be done. And I just think that when you have this conversation, it makes you kind of look up and say, okay, what happened? And I'm surprised that no one really asked about the Jack Sanborn thing. You know what I'm saying? No one's asked about that, but it's just okay. That goes to my biggest problem. Listen, y'all, was I a fan of Brian Schottenheimer being hired in Dallas? No, but it's not because I do not believe in Brian Schottenheimer. I believe Brian Schottenheimer is a phenomenal coach. I would probably love to play Brian Schottenheimer right now. It's the extra stuff I know this man has to deal with. I'm just like, bro, God bless. You know what I'm saying? Like, you, bro. Like, God bless you. Like, it's hard to fight. Like, Shotty, I want to fight for you, bro, but I'm tired. You know what I'm saying?
God damn, I'm tired as hell.
I'm tired, bro. Like, I ain't got too many fights. You know what I'm saying? So that is my problem when it comes to just Brian Schottenheimer. I believe in this man. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's KU. He's from my own backyard. You know what I'm saying? I should damn sure be riding with Shotty, but it's just these extra battles that goes on behind the scenes that I know that he has to deal with. That's what kind of frustrates me. So yeah, I'm happy that Brian was able to say, okay, Dak in the offense, y'all good. Clayton, y'all got that. Let me go into the defensive room and find out what is really going on and have tough conversations. Nope, I don't like that. We're going to take that out. Hey, I know we've been playing zone 96% of the time. Now, all of a sudden, they're playing man 46% of the time. You know what I'm saying? Shotty spoke about it in last week's press conference about, spacing in situations, right? Giving them 9 yards of cushion when it's 4th and 2. So Shotty had to roll up his sleeves, go into the defensive rooms and give them an audit, and it paid dividends versus the Washington Commanders.
And to a degree, I also got to give Jerry and them credit too, because that was the benefit of Shotty when he first got to Dallas being a consultant. Because remember, he was on a defensive side, and he was telling them, if I was an offensive guy, this is how I would attack y'all. But it made him have to deal on a defensive side. That's low key, very good job training by Jerry now, like keeping it real, right? So to where because you know this as a VP, a lot of times you have to get and groom people for these jobs. You don't just throw people into them vice president jobs. You go have them work in this department, work in that department. Then I'm gonna have you as the OC. I'm gonna have you as the consultant. Like that is where we have to give Jerry and them a degree of credit for preparing him and giving them jobs that allow him to go back and now, in my opinion, consult Matt Eberflus during crisis times like this. What's your thoughts?
Yeah. When it comes to Brian Schottenheimer, and I kind of been using this term for myself, and I also applied to Shotty, it's one of my favorite cartoons for all my cartoon heads. It's Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm not sure if you've seen that, boss, but when it came to Avatar, he had to go learn all these traits from the OGs, right? So in order to be able to bend and mold fire, he had to go learn from the Fire Lords, right? And then to bend air, he had to learn from the air and the water. Like he had to learn the earth, like from all these OGs that came before him. That is the same exact thing when it came to Brian Schottenheimer, right? Yeah. He learned from Pete Carroll. So he had Pete Carroll, but also Pete Carroll used to send that man on missions. Hey, go find out what the hell Kyle Shanahan and them doing, right?
Yeah.
So he had to study with Kyle Shanahan and them are doing, right? And then also he was working with Dan Quinn and find out what Dan Quinn was doing from a defensive standpoint. So go learn that, right? And so go learn all these different traits and things and being under Rex Ryan and all these. So even though it took him almost 14, 15 years to become a head coach, he's learned so many different traits that he's able to now apply with his coaching philosophy, where now he can have this Kyle Shanahan hybrid kind of avatar-ish type offense, right? But learn the passing game, but also go and step into a defensive room and say, nah, this is not it. This is not working. Like you said, this is what can be exploited. This is what I want my defense to look like. This is how we can do it with the current personnel and be able to talk it confidently, where Matt Eberflus like, okay, I see what you're saying, man. So I think that's like Shotty, like you're saying, all the training that he's done throughout the course